Hello, Sparrows. Hello, Sparrows. It's another Wisdom Wednesday, and I am Valerie Miller of T.V.M. The Valerie Miller Double Fold. This very moment, you have opportunity to change. And I have a juicy tonight with Kevin Mohler coming to the room, and we're going to have entrepreneur to entrepreneur conversations. And he's coming to us by way of Alabama and should be in the room in a matter of minutes, just a matter of minutes. So it's going to be a great opportunity tonight. So you're going to love Kevin. He's someone I have met on Shaper, and we've been communicating, and catching up with him isn't always easy because he's always on a stage somewhere, building businesses, connecting with some phenomenal people, some really phenom individuals. When you start talking Jack Cornfield and Les Brown, Grant Cardone, these types of individuals are the stages that he's standing on with. He's always presenting something. Hello, Kevin.
Hey.
You're
Sorry.
sideways. And
yeah,
you're
being
to the
odd.
side.
It's being odd with the several different things. Hold on a second, guys. I apologize.
He's gonna
figure it out.
Exactly. We're gonna get it right.
That's what happens.
That's so weird. Let me disconnect real quick. I'm gonna come right back on.
That sounds
fine.
Sorry about that.
No worries. However, it's going to be a great show, as it's going to be an indicator. He's coming in upside down, a little interference in the background, but it doesn't surprise me at all, ever. It really does not surprise me whenever this happens. So give it just a moment. Like I said, he's one of those individuals that has really been making his mark, and to build a construction business and then give it all up to build additional businesses. I wrote so much about him on the timeline today with his bio. It's just inspiring. It really is inspiring. It just goes to show when your heart is in something and you know that you're destined to do that, it's always possible. It's just about you taking the initiative to get it done, putting in the work to do it. And it's never easy. I can promise you that. It's never easy, but anything worth having never is. It just depends on how badly you want it. So Kevin's going to be coming in momentarily. Hopefully this time when he comes in, everything will be peachy and we can go ahead and get the conversation started. Hi, Angie Harrison, David Wright. Welcome to the room. It's been a day and a half. I can promise you that. However, it's always Wisdom Wednesday.
I think we're here now.
Hi. Are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you perfectly.
I don't know what happened the first time, guys. I apologize. First time that when I joined, for some reason, it just blew up my camera like super big, and then we had, okay. But I'm here now. It's good to go.
It's nothing different. Think about how many times it took for us to get on this afternoon. It just didn't make any sense at all.
No.
But it happens. It's technology. It's nothing we can do about it.
Exactly.
We can't.
And we're here now.
We're here now. That's all that matters. I've given a brief overview of you. So before going any further, welcome to the room.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me, Valerie.
Yes,
excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. So why don't you go ahead and share a bit about yourself outside of what I've already shared in your bio, as well as our mini commercial earlier today. So what can you share with the Sparrows to give them a brief overview of Mr. Construction to Stage and how you have become who you are today as an entrepreneur?
I would love to. I love sharing my story because I just believe that every time we hear stories, it affects our lives in different ways. Because it's a testimony to what somebody else has done, and therefore if somebody else can do something, we can do it ourselves. And I still rely on testimonies to change my life to this day, to shape me, to mold me, to help me to learn what's possible, to help me expand my vision, expand my thinking, And so 11 years ago, I had always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I'd always wanted my own business. I wanted to be successful by the world standards, but I also want to be able to travel, do missions and ministry work, spend time with family,
Yes.
enjoy hobbies. You name it, pretty much I'm into it. Everything except for golf, I am into. From motorcycles, rock climbing, scuba diving, skydiving, traveling the world, missions, ministry. I mean, you name it. I love it. And so I wanted to own my own business, but the challenge was most businesses take a lot of time and a lot of money to start.
Yes.
And a lot of us have this self-talk, which, by the way, if you listen to the rest of this, there's one big promise I'm going to give you. You're going to be thinking different by the end of this short interview than you have your entire life coming into it. That's my big, bold promise and my guarantee to you. And that's what I want to deliver today, because what I thought back then was there's no way that I can start a business yet. Maybe one day, someday, somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but one day I'm going to do it, but not today. Why? Because I'm too young, because I don't have a degree, because I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time. My dad has a 10th grade
Excuses.
education. My mom's a nurse. And so I had all these excuses, but I figured out how to overcome a lot of those obstacles to actually start my first business at the age of 20. Was full-time construction worker during the daytime, full-time college student at night, studying for an architecture degree. And started my first business. And within 7 months, I quit construction, went full-time, and never looked back. And that was almost 11 years ago. Since then, started other companies. I have 6 companies today in different industries. And it's been a blessing for sure.
And finding the time to do it all. It's only 24 hours in a day, Kev.
That's true.
And, but being an entrepreneur, we have 1,000,001 ideas of 1,000,001 different types of businesses. They don't always have to align into the same direction. It's just something we know that we are going to do. It's figuring out how we're going to do it and taking can't out of it, taking the excuses out of it, and just moving forward and letting it fall where it may. Right?
Absolutely.
So
big time.
How are you managing the 6? How are you doing this? And just give an overview of what they are.
Okay. Well, I have 6 companies. One is a marketing organization across the country for a smartphone app that changes the way that people access the legal system and their rights, which is pretty cool. I'm very passionate about that. Another business I have is my public speaking, coaching, consulting company called Strategic Life Design. So you can visit strategiclifedesign.com. And get some details about that if you want to. I have several companies in the healthcare industry. So HemaCare Plus is a specialty pharmacy that treats children with bleeding disorders in Alabama. The American Autism and Rehabilitation Center is a facility that treats children with autism, Asperger's, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, ADD, ADHD, a number of different situations there that we help at the facility. And then we have American Hyperbaric Center, and that's hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So we treat post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, stroke patients, sports injuries, concussions, you name it. We have the largest hyperbaric chamber in all of Alabama or Mississippi. In fact, we actually just got in touch with a guy that's flying in from another country to get treatment from our facility, which is cool. And then lastly, we have the Special Needs Foundation of America, which is our nonprofit organization that's brand new. So that's kind of the 6 things that I do.
Right now.
Right now. You got it.
Yeah, right now. And Kevin's not the type of guy that you could ever hold down. It's going to be something all the time. And I get it, being entrepreneur. It's no way possible you can have all the ideas. And it's not just us. I know Sparrows out there and Kevin's followers as well. You have them, but you have to take fear out of it to do something about it. To be independent. It takes work to do anything. It's no different than you getting up and going to work every day for someone else. And I'm pretty sure you've taken notice to the different quotes that I've put on the timeline throughout the afternoon that refers back to that. If you're not living your own dreams, you're only working for someone and you're bringing theirs to life, in essence. So why sit on yours?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I'm sure you had fear. I know I had fear until I was out there, and it was either sink or swim. And there's still sometimes when your head go underwater, you just have to learn how to get back up to the top, figure it out. Don't drown. Don't stay there. So what are some inspirational tools that you figure that you've used in the past that's gotten you where you are because you're in 6 different platforms?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, a lot of again, it's not the enemy that's the problem. It's the inner me. It's the way that we
Yeah.
think. It's the conversation that we have with ourselves. And most of us, if we can be transparent and honest right now, I think most of us on here or that watch this on replay would say, if somebody came up to me in random that I didn't know and told me the very thing that I tell myself, there'd be an altercation. There'd be a
Yes.
physical fight, at least a verbal confrontation, because I'll never let somebody talk to me the way that I'm willing to talk to myself. And we need to
Exactly.
evaluate that relationship and work on that. And I had to work on that a lot. I mean, I was not the person 11 years ago that I am today, and I'm not the person today that I'm going to be next week, next month, next year. And so personal development, professional development, I mean, you have to be fast to listen to ideas that expand your thinking and to absorb that and to discern it and say, look, is this making me grow to what my vision is for my life, or is this holding me back from my vision in my life? And we have to discern that and choose what we put into our minds, what we put out of our minds. I had a friend that called me today and asked me if I saw what was on the news. I said, the last time I saw the news, because I don't
Don't watch
remember.
the news. Don't
CNN is
watch it.
constant negative news, constant negative network. Like, I have no time for that in my life. And so some of the tools that we have are just very simple. It's personal and professional development. Anytime you have the opportunity to absorb something that can change the way that you think, change your mindset, you've got to jump on it. You've got to adopt the skill set and the mindset that, hey, this is available to me and I'm going to jump on it and absorb it like a sponge. And the
Now,
faster you soak up that information, the faster your mind starts to change, the faster your life starts to change. And you start to adopt these
exactly.
philosophies that instead of holding you back, they start to shape you and refine you for your future. So that's the main point that I can tell you today, is that there's hardly ever a day that goes by that I'm not in an audio, listening to professional audio that's shaping me, and in a book that's changing the way that I think. Every single day, that's a part of my daily
Absolutely.
routine.
It has to become something that's of a natural thing. And there are certain individuals that you gravitate to because of the principles that they have and how they speak, what they do. It's a natural alignment. Sometimes you don't automatically know, but you are attracted to certain individuals. So that is your guide. That's your spirit saying, hey, listen to that person. Hey, follow this one and see what they're doing. Kind of sculpt yourself like this, because what else are you going to do? You don't know. We don't always have the answers right away, but it's always mentors out there. Mentors. I love me some Lisa Nichols. I'll tell you that. Love her for the simple fact, does Lisa know me? No, not yet. Not yet.
Not
She
yet.
will. She will. And another thing is her energy. I love that about her. And it's a lot of symmetry that I see in her within myself. The energy, love of life, get tired. When you get so tired, you do something about it. So when are you going to do something about it? Feeling a certain way, knowing your life is supposed to be accustomed differently. It's up to you to shape it and do the work that is out there. The library is full of books. The internet is full of information that you can obtain to better your business, to better your life, to better any area that you need to be looking into for yourself. Your spirit is telling you, it's guiding you. Just listen to it. Listen.
Absolutely. And
Now,
it's what you marinate in that changes everything. I mean, I know we've
right,
got different people are going to see this from different walks of life. And so I apologize to
right.
my vegan friends for a second, but I can tell you
Uh-oh.
that those that actually that eat meat, right? When you marinate it in something and you heat the grill up and you throw that meat on there and you hear the sizzle and their
Sear.
marinade starts to coming out, right? And you know
Yes.
what? That's what our lives are like. When the heat of life turns up, whatever we've been soaking in is what comes out. And the heat of
Automatically.
life is going to hit all of us. I mean, we're going to have health
It
challenges
does.
with us or people in our family. We're going to have financial challenges and economic challenges and political
Yes.
challenges and you name it. Life is challenging. In the heat of the
Yes.
moment, whatever you've been soaking in is what's going to come out.
Oh,
And so we got to
yes.
be
With a
careful of what we put
vengeance.
in.
Exactly. That's the very reason television is limited. What you listen to. It goes back to see no evil, hear no evil, speak no
Speak no
evil.
evil.
It's
You got it.
there. It's so much fact to that, because what goes in here, in here, speaking out, it comes out. So you have to be mindful and protect your subconscious, because once that subconscious has received whatever it is, good, bad, or whatnot, the conscious receives it and it comes out. You start living it on display. And that's why it's going to be vital that you protect yourself, understand what you are receiving into your life to implement and disperse into your businesses and your personal life and your professional life. And every encompassed area of your life is on display. It can be health, it can be business, it can be personal relationships. Everything is on display because of what you're feeding yourself. I'm just saying.
You
I'm just
got it.
saying.
And about the
Yeah.
subconscious, the crazy thing about the subconscious mind is that scientists now have confirmed that actually 97% of the decisions that we make in life are not conscious, they're subconscious. And if you think
Exactly.
about, there's so many things, guys, that I was programmed with, and I don't know if you can relate or not, but I have a feeling that everybody can to a certain degree. There were
Mm-hmm.
so many things that I was programmed with that were not feeding my future. They were not positive thoughts. They were not positive
Right.
beliefs. And they're so
Right.
hard to change. Just like if you're a sports fan and you love a certain team, if I tell you to make a conscious decision right now to stop loving that team, you can't do it. You can't do it because you have programmed throughout years, maybe decades, that you
Right.
love this team. The interesting thing is we were not born a fan of that team. We
No.
didn't even know what the sport was when we were born.
You're
We weren't
introduced
born the
to it.
fan. Yeah, we were
Mm-hmm.
introduced to it and we absorbed it and it programmed our
Right.
subconscious mind, and now we can't just go change our mind because it's in our subconscious. How do you deal with things where maybe you were taught that you're not smart enough, you're not old enough, you don't have the education, you don't live in the right
Right.
area, you don't have the right parents, you're not articulate. What are you thinking about being a speaker? You're not a writer. How are you going to write a book? You got
How
all
dare
these
you?
things. How dare you? And
How
our
dare
own
you?
mind believes it to be true. And the challenge is whatever you believe to be true is true for you.
Exactly.
It's true for you. And so how do we deal with that? And
Change your
that's
conversations.
Yes, it's one of the things that I love to teach the most is really absorbing and understanding how our subconscious mind works and how to fix it, because it's really, really, really difficult to fix. And a lot of people will go 30, 40, 50, 60 years, their entire life, and never actually get it where it needed to be to serve their future.
It's tough.
It
It's
is tough.
tough. And being in that space of dealing with the mind and the heart as conscious lifestyle strategists, is in the title, consciousness, and being aware. It takes a lot to undo what's been done, what's been, conditioned from life, from birth up to present, and understanding what's actual truth and what isn't, and obtaining proof of that, experience of that. It's not an easy walk. That's why a lot of people run away from it because of the work, because they're afraid of. I've had a client to say to me they're afraid of who they're going to be at the end of the sessions because they've
Wow.
never met that person before. And that's one of the reasons why my slogan is what it is. I introduce you to yourself
Yeah.
because you've never
Well,
met you before.
and the world can't wait to meet that new person.
Yeah,
I can't
that's
wait to meet that
awesome.
new person, whoever that is.
I Whoever that is. And that's all
That's
because
right.
we have to change in order to be introduced.
Very
So,
true.
yeah. So, transformation is a beautiful thing. It's nothing to be afraid of. And the conversations we're having right now it's not just for entrepreneur. It's a lifestyle. It's how you're living every day
And we
within a
feel most
nutshell.
alive when we're growing, when we're
Exactly.
conquering, even if you don't own a business, but you had a great day at work today, you felt productive, you felt like you did your best. There's this feeling of gratitude and excitement about life because you're
Absolutely.
growing, you're doing something, and you're progressing. And to me, that's what I'm
Yes.
addicted to. I'm addicted
Yes.
to progress. I'm addicted to making my marriage better, getting in better physical shape, financial shape, getting healthier, building relationships, contribution to society. Like, I am addicted to every area of my life growing, and that's what makes me
Positive.
feel alive. That's what makes me feel
Right.
alive,
It's all positive, and you
Yes.
see, the results. The fruits of the labor is on display. You're happy when you can smile all the time and have enough to share. And then it gets to the point to where most people they're expecting you to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way to be. And it's all because you choose change. And I love being challenged. That's why my business is biblical based. It's change, all about transformation, introducing yourself to who you were born to be, your birthright privilege. You need to live that life. Do what you got to do. Get there. What are you waiting on? We don't know how much life is left. We don't know how much sand is in that glass of life. Enjoy it while you have it, and don't be on the side of regret saying, I wish I had. All
Exactly.
of the things inside not coming out. So, what are you going to do? Get up, take a chance, leap. If you fall, so what? Get up, dust off, keep going. That didn't work, change it. Try it again. Don't be afraid. And those people that are in your ear that's telling you what you can't do, the ultimate word that needs to be stricken from the vocabulary is can't. It needs to be gone because we can do all things through Christ. We all know that. We know we can. It's just how we're going to get there.
You got it. In that same book, the Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your
Of the
mind. Not
mind.
the one-time renewal,
Yes.
the renewing,
Yes.
which means continual
Continual.
process, which means
Yes.
never ending,
Ending.
and working
Right.
on yourself and changing the way that you think. Look, when you change yourself, you change your life. You change everything. You change everything that you even see.
Uh-huh.
If you're somebody who says, look, I've just never been given the opportunity, I promise you, you shape this thing called your mind, you'll start to
Uh-huh.
identify opportunities that were right in front of your nose that you missed because the
All the
way you
time.
were thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So
Your
I couldn't agree
view,
more.
everything. Yeah. Your view changes. And I'm constantly talking about it, in the mornings, on my inspirations about the view. And if you read any of my gratitude time posts, I'm always talking about my morning walk. And even though you go in the same directions and you are familiar in your subconscious, you know where you are, you're familiar, you're walking. You can get to your destination with your eyes closed because you know your area that well.
Mm.
However, sometimes you have to shift your direction to change your view. Even though it's the same direction or something that's similar, when you change your view, you receive something different, even though you're in the same space. It's mind blowing. And then just walking by, that patch of honeysuckle every morning, it's a gas. It reminds me of life in the moments, always be refreshed and take a different view. And that's exactly what happens every single morning. So I have to write about it and share it because it's reality of life in the moments when you're changing,
In order for
sculpting,
things to change, you must change.
you must change.
You
It's
got it.
inevitable. Inevitable.
And everything, I think also when we talk about change and we talk about things like overcoming fears and that kind of stuff,
Right.
I think there's also a lot of wisdom and understanding that we all face moments of discouragement. We all
Oh, yeah.
face moments
Yeah.
where we feel that we want to give up. We all face these fears. The part is not trying to become the person that is fearless. It's the person that
Yes.
decides to continue to move forward despite the fear.
Right.
And for me, like I have a sign in my office that says that success begins at the end of your comfort zone. And I try to
Mm-hmm.
expand my comfort zone every single day and do something that terrifies me, do something that is uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. But those are the very
Yes.
things I need to do to get to
Right.
the next level of life. It's the workout you don't want to do that's going to get you in better shape. It's the
Yes.
money you don't want to spend on better food that's going to make you more healthy. It's the
Yes.
conversation you don't want to have that's going to restore the relationship. It's the things we don't
Right.
want to do that gets us to what we want. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I have a blog post in my blog that talks about choose your hard, that life is hard. Life is going to be hard. It's hard to be
Yes.
successful, and it's hard to deal with the results of not being successful.
Mm.
It's hard to make the money. It's hard to not have any money. So choose your
Exactly.
hard. You just be smart about what you choose to do that is difficult in life, and it'll change the way that your life is. I had another mentor that told me not long ago that he said that if you do what's hard, life is easy. If you do what's easy, life is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that is so, so smart. I had another mentor that taught me a principle that really hit home This past year, my wife's had a lot of medical treatment. I've taken her out of the country 6 times in the last 13 months. She's doing great, by the way. But I had a mentor that told me a decade ago, he said, Kevin, it's the things you do when you don't have to do it that'll determine where you are when you can no longer help it. And when I heard that, I had to really marinate in that for a second and take it in to really get and grasp what he was trying to say. What he was trying to say is that when you're given an opportunity in life and you do what you don't have to do, you stretch yourself, you go after it. Maybe your life is comfortable right now, but you do it anyway. Maybe you're healthy, but you decide to get healthier anyway. Maybe you're financially fit, but you decide to save more, invest more anyway. When you do what you don't have to do, all of a sudden when life hits you in an unexpected way, that'll determine whether you're prepared for it or not.
Yeah, you can take it.
And thank God that we built a business to be gone 6 times, 80 days, 6-figure bill, insurance didn't cover anything, able to go do that. Thank God, because he literally put me on a path 11 months ago to change my life. The construction worker Kevin couldn't have done that. If I finished my degree as an architecture, a designer, I wouldn't have been able to do that. Thank God he put me in a position and I seized an opportunity that was later on in life going to help me in a way that I would have never predicted. And I think that's awesome. Wisdom. It's wisdom to do the things you don't have to do that will determine where you are when you can't help yourself.
It shows up on time.
You got it.
We know more than we give ourselves credit for. It's just implementing and utilizing what we already know.
Exactly. And that's tough sometimes. Tough for us all.
It is. Because it could be scary. Say, oh my gosh, all that came out of me? Like, good grief.
Exactly. And man, I got to put this out to the world. And what if I fail? And what are people going to say? Look, what if you don't? Yeah, and what if you don't? What if you don't try? Because I promise you, what I don't want to live, what I don't want to happen, what I don't want to happen in my life is me to say, I thought about doing X, Y, and Z, and what if? What if?
It can strangle you.
Yeah. Did I take what I was given and actually run with it to the best of my ability?
Absolutely not.
Because nobody wants us at 90%. Look, our spouse doesn't want us at 90%. Our children, our bosses, our employees, our staff, our society, our churches, our organizations, associations, everybody expects our best. And so if we go around and we expect our best, if we say, you know what, I'm bringing 100 today to everything that I do, the small task, the big task, from doing the laundry to making the phone call, I'm bringing 100% of me today, baby. That's when you can go out there and really ramp up life, because that's what people expect. And that's where greatness comes from, is you doing what you're capable of doing. And most people, if they just started doing what they're capable of doing, they'd blow their own minds, much less everybody else's. That's the truth.
Well, that's the fact of it all, because most people aren't doing what they are capable of doing. They've settled into things and different types of positions just to pay the bills.
Right.
In fear, not willing to roll the dice and take a chance on themselves because they don't believe enough in themselves and those capabilities. That's what the problem is. Because if you love what you do, then you automatically give it 100%.
You got it.
It's automatic. You don't have to have that particular self-talk, because it's not hard for me to roll out of the bed and be on camera at 7 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't. It's not hard. It's not hard for me to finish up a live and then change my clothes and go for a walk every morning for an hour. It's not hard, because I've conditioned myself to it. I finally have the opportunity to do it. It was always that time, if I had the opportunity, this is what I would do. Then God gave me the opportunity, and I'm doing it.
And you're doing it. You got it.
I'm doing it.
I love that.
And it's not always the easiest thing in the world. Like you said, it's going to be challenges, but it's all about how you receive that, how you look at it. What can you learn from that challenge? How is it going to push you, grow you, stretch you, sculpt you for preparation? So when the surprise comes, you have the wisdom, you have the knowledge, you have the finances, you're prepared for it. Like the situation you had with your wife.
Right. Well, when the surprise comes that you're not expecting, but also when the opportunity comes that you're not expecting.
Exactly.
I mean, a lot of people, the very prayer that they've been praying for opportunity, if it hit them in the face right now, would they be ready? And
Right.
that's the thing. You got to feel the fear and do it anyway. And
Do it
looking at the
anyway.
rest of the world saying, well, I don't know if I would be ready because I'm not this person or that person. Listen, it's feeling that fear and doing it anyway. That's
Uh-huh.
what life responds to seed, not need. It responds to the things
Exactly.
that you plant. When you get ready and you start planting a seed, you're going to get a harvest. It's
Right.
not when you say, hey, when I get a harvest, I'll start planting seeds. Life wasn't designed that way. That's not the
It
way
really
this world
wasn't.
works. We have to plant the
No.
seeds and till the soil and water it and give it sunlight, and then there's a harvest. And that's everybody wants the harvest, right? But we have to be
You
willing to
got to
plant
work
those
for
seeds.
it.
Yep.
You got to plant it. You got to till it. You got to water it, nurture it, give it some love. And then, as we're talking about seed, I keep mustard seeds around. So when I need a boost of courage to do something that I'm a little bit apprehensive on, I promise you, I'll pop one of those little seeds in there and say, okay, Lord, take it. And then I go do what I have to do. And it
Right.
always work out. Say, you know what, girl, you had no business stressing about that in the first place. You knew it was easy breezy. That kind of thing. But it's human nature for that to happen. But at the same time, you can either let fear consume you or you can let it guide you. Period.
And turn those fears into fuel.
It's fuel.
Feel
It's
the
going to
fear and move
ignite.
forward.
Yeah, it's going to ignite. It's going to ignite you any way you look at it. That's why I always say, push yourself to greater, push to greater, push to greater. Sometimes you have to really pull it up by the bootstraps and say, push to greater. Keep pushing.
You
Push
got it.
until something and pray until something happens. That's what the push is. Pray until something happens. Stand still for a moment, pray about it, pop a mustard seed in your mouth. Go on about your business. Do that because you know you're in alignment to do what you are doing. If you're not in alignment to do what you were born to do, change it.
And now's
Make
the time.
preparation to do it. Yeah.
And now's the
Because we're
time.
both into transformation. Transformation is everything. We're constantly evolving every single day. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. Kevin's not the same person he was a year ago because we choose change every day. It's not possible to not flourish when you're constantly changing.
Mm-hmm. Putting in the work.
Yeah.
I mean, life is a lot like a banana. We're getting ripe or we're getting rotten. And
Uh, that's a fact. And you've frozen in time for whatever reason, Kevin. I don't even know. But welcome to the room, everybody. While Kevin's frozen, I'm going to say thank you for joining our broadcast tonight. Rich Woodley, thank you so much. He's dropped out. I'm sure he'll be back in any moment now. But it's just one of those things. Like, how are you treating yourself? Are you treating yourself in love? Are you settling in the place where you are? Are you willing to take that leap of faith to be the greatest of yourself? You have to ask yourself all of those questions. Are you asking yourself those questions every day? How am I growing? How can I benefit myself to be the best today? And on top of that, who can I help change today? Whose lives can I make better today? It's all of those types of situations. I know you had to fly out, Sparrow, but you're back.
I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it just froze up.
It happens. It happens. But it was a little high volumes of juice in the room.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were
You
pouring
got
juice everywhere. It was overflowing the glass.
it. Well, we start talking about life transformation. I get excited. I get
I
excited for
get
sure.
excited too. I mean, we would shut it down
Right?
when it comes to that because it's necessary. You have to learn in order to evolve and to become. We're becoming our own identities every day.
And that's
We're
what God
sculpting,
created us to do. Like, I mean,
right?
the very thumbprint, like you look at your thumb, there's
Yeah, they're all
8
different.
billion people on the planet. And there's only one that's ever had this thumbprint. And that's me. And
Exactly.
you raise your thumb. There's only one that's ever had. It's like God in his divine design said, look, I'm going to put a mark on your very body that you can look at any given time and say, you know what? This is how
Yeah.
I know that I was
Yeah.
created for purpose and I was
Uh-huh.
created on purpose. And I'm not supposed to be the other 8 billion. I'm supposed to be me. And I'm
Period.
supposed to shine. I'm supposed to be bold. I'm supposed to make courageous decisions. In spite
Yes.
of fear, I'm moving forward. I'm deciding to change my life. If these people can change it, I can change it. If they can change their marriage, change their
Absolutely.
finances, change their life, change their future, start a business, grow a family, then I can do that same thing. And I can do it
Exactly.
my way because God made me unique. And embracing that because it's true. But we
It's
got to
all
embrace it
true.
because what we believe to be true is true for us. So what I'm telling you is that God created us unique for a reason and created us on purpose for a purpose. And you
Live
need
it
to
out.
absorb that. That's the truth.
Right.
Make
Live
it
it
true
out.
for you and then live it out. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's living it out every day and stop wondering what it would be like and experience the truth.
You got it.
Experience that. I promise you, it's nothing like it. There's nobody fabulous than me. Mm-mm.
That's right. You got it.
I'm fabulous. I'm the Valerie Miller.
The Valerie Miller. T.V.M.
Yeah.
I love it.
T.V.M. And a lot of people ask what's with the. I said so many Valerie Millers out there. And Rich Woodley, if he's still in the room, I used to work with him at HP. And we always talked about these things happening, like what's happening right now. So it's long before, maybe at least 3 years ago. And he and another coworker, we were talking, and I said, yeah, I'm going to have a show or something like that. And they said, yeah, Valerie Miller. I said, no, I'm Valerie Miller. And then they said, no, the Valerie Miller. So I think I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. But it makes it unique. But it's more than just that. If you look in Webster, there are a number of descriptions of what the means. At the very bottom, it says God. The means God. God is first in my life. Number one. I am second. So that's really why it's the Valerie Miller. I follow his protocol, his blueprint for my life. And that's why it's imperative to have branding. My company is branding yourself, introducing you to yourself. And if I'm not introducing me to myself every day, I can't guide you to reach it for yourself. So God is always first. Your higher power is number one. So speaking that is all about having faith and understanding your chemical makeup and your mind, because what he's put in your heart can come to pass. Those are your desires. It's up to you to make them reality. He's given you the blueprint. He's given it to you. So when are you going to go out and read it and build your structure from it? Your life is your structure. So get off your
Absolutely.
butt and do something.
Get off it and go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I often tell people that, my background being construction and a draftsman. I never got my degree as an architect, but my background being architect, design and construction. The unique thing is that each of us have an architect and a builder inside of us. And we can take that architectural plan that we're handed by God, that blueprint,
Right.
and read that thing and then turn around and grab a hammer and a nail and get busy and go build it. It's up to us to build it. The same way that God promised to feed the birds, but he doesn't throw the worm in the nest. I mean, you got to fly out and go get it, and that's the same thing with us is that, he came that we would have life and life more abundantly, but we've got to do our part for that to bear fruit.
Absolutely. Because the work is out there sweating it out. You've got to do that. It's not easy. You can't just be up under a shade tree in a hammock sipping on lemonade thinking that everything's just going to conform by itself. It's not. You can have the vision there, but you have to get up and have action. You have to move, implement those ideas. If you don't ever move on it, you're going to always be standing and running in the same space. You're never going to get where you're going when you don't believe in yourself enough to make the necessary adjustments to be who you were supposed to be. Go live that life. It's awesome. Go live it. When you can travel, you're not confined to an office. Let your office be mobile. Now, granted, there are going to be some people, Kev, that is intended for the office space because that is what their alignment is.
Yeah.
In the event that is what is for you, fabulous. Just still do your absolute greatest there. Are you shining like you're supposed to? Are you making your mark in that office? Are you climbing up the ranks like you're supposed to? Are you giving it your everything? Who can really say that you are? I know I wasn't when I was in there. I wasn't. I really wasn't. I gave a lot. I did a great job everywhere I went. But every job that I had was a stepping stone for me to get where I am. It was the tools that I took away from every corporation. I learned something with every single job that I worked because it was preparation for now. And that's what blows my mind because if you ever looked at my resume, it's very diverse. I never chose a career path of healthcare or banking, insurance, those types of things. No, no, I was bored out of my mind. I couldn't do that. I'm bored. So when you look at it, it had to be something that I was attracted to, that I found it to be fluffy and creative. I can interact with people. I had to be where I engaged with people. And that's what I do. My job, what I do is people. Happy. You need to be happy. Do what you're supposed to do. And everybody's in that great place. That's it. If I can just be happy every day to help you be happy, we're all cool and kosher. That's it. It's fun. Like you were saying, interior design, that was my absolute my favorite of all times. And I still do it. Everything I've ever done, I still do. It's just all within my company now.
That's
Ain't that
awesome.
juicy?
That's awesome. And that's empowering. And, that's the thing is that we all can live a life like that. I mean, that's the life that is cut
Yeah.
out for T.V.M. right now. And you're living in
Yeah.
that. And I think that's
Right.
wonderful. I think it's the reason why we hit it off so quickly when we met,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is that, we are attracted to people that are a lot like us. That means that if we're
Yes.
negative, we're attracted to negative.
Right.
If we're gossip, we attract the people that gossip. If we party, we're
Uh-huh.
attracted to partiers. If we're, trying to become the best version of ourselves, we're attracted to people that
Right.
are becoming the best version of themselves. And like attracts like. And,
It
you got to
does.
surround yourself. I mean, one of the biggest key components, too, is that if you want to change your life, but you're in a toxic environment, you really got to take
Mm.
some inventory on your environment, your associations. We know the law of
Right.
association tells us that we're the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. We're absorbing
That's
their
true.
values, we're absorbing their habits, we're absorbing their mindset. Even if we think we're not, we are. It's kind of like the law of gravity. You don't have to agree with
Uh-huh.
it for it to work. You can hop on a roof and jump off and say, I don't believe in gravity. Well, gravity doesn't care. You can say, well, I don't
Flat.
even call it gravity. That's not its correct name. Gravity doesn't care. That's the same thing with the law of association. Our associations are working
Exactly.
harder on us than we are on our associations. And that is a
Facts.
law. And so if you can't change the people around you for the better, then change the people around you for the better.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And get really sincere about taking stock of what you're absorbing and what you're marinating in, what that environment's like, what those people are like, and
Mm-hmm.
start to make sure that they have your best interests, and that their values align with yours. And if they don't, you need to slide that person out of your sphere and you need to take somebody else and add them to it.
Yes. It is so true. It is. And times of being entrepreneur and sculpting yourself, rebranding you. That's how it's a good way of looking at it. You're rebranding yourself. You will see who is for you and who's against you, and that makes your decision easy.
That's
It
true.
hurts sometimes. However, at the same time, it's glorifying that they displayed themselves, they showed up, so you can let them go because it's vital to have like minds in your circle, the people that are going to motivate you, and they actually understand the struggles, the challenges that you're going to be faced with. That's what it's all about. Somebody who understands versus somebody who has absolutely no idea what you go through on a daily. And Kevin has frozen again. Look at him. He's just frozen in time. And I know he can hear me from where he is. He can hear me. He'll pop out eventually and then he'll have to come back on. association is everything. See, like I told you, he'll pop back in a second. But association is everything because you can be easily swayed by the opinions of others if you are not careful. You have to make decisions for your life, live out those decisions, stand firm on them because it's not going to be easy obtaining the things that you know that you deserve to have. It's hard. I promise you, it is so hard. Man, the things that you're going to have to do to absolutely rebrand yourself. However, at the same time, it's the best decision you can make for your entire life because every part of your life changes. Associations change, your mindset change. The things you used to do is no more. It is no more. And it's just beautiful all the way around. I would take my challenges any day. Anything I need to do to make my business greater, to stay in the space that I am and grow from that, to be that much more bold and being brave to do it all, that's what it takes. And you have to take fear out of it and trust that God would not put you in this place if you were not intended to be there. But make sure this is something that you're led to do. If you haven't been, guided to do that, I wouldn't suggest you just jump out there and do it on your own. That makes things that much harder because you want to have some insight and direction that's going to help you get where you're going. And it helps to have like minds, people that do this every day, and they can be that support system when you need a support system. So those people that you generally hang out and associate with are probably not going to all be there. And there may be one or two that hangs around, but the majority, you will see the true colors of it all. And it's necessary sometimes for your associations to change. Embrace it when it comes. I promise you, you will be grateful in the end. When you start seeing the change taking place in your business, in your life, in your family's life, and it's all of what you imagined it to be, actually greater than you imagined it to be, then you know you're on the right course. You are on the right course. I say pray often. Gratitude is everything, and have that time set aside every day. Actually, I have gratitude all day long. Now, you may see different things of association with gratitude popping up on timeline. It's because I write a blog every single day, and I just share my gratitude with you so you have opportunity to write what you're grateful for also. So anytime you see that Sparrow on the timeline, gratitude time for, then that's just me sharing my gratitude. Because I'm grateful for where I am, who I am, how I've become. And it takes tragedy sometimes, it takes hardships sometimes, it takes being in a place you never thought you would be in order to get where you're going. I just suggest that you embrace everything along the way and let that be enough. Don't question it. Just absorb it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Stay focused on that preview you have in your head, that desire you have in your heart. Believe it with everything in you that is happening. The evidence is there. Just pay attention to see it. Tone down the chaos in your mind, in your life, so you can actually see what's taking place around you every single day. Every single day. It's the most beautiful thing. When you can live your life in freedom every day, that's what life means to me. Live in freedom every day. That's when you're awakened. That's when you are who you were born to be. You're going to forever hear me talk about birthright gifts, the things that God has given you, that you were born with, that literally is your career. You can't be afraid of it because your gifts do make room. You can monetize your gifts to be fabulous. And whatever those gifts are, it's room for everybody. Even with similarities. Kevin and I do so many things that are similar. You know?
You know? I'm back.
You're back?
You're back.
We got some
We got some
feedback.
feedback.
Oh, do you? Oh, God.
Did your phone
Did your
die?
phone die?
It did. And I didn't realize that my headphones were plugged in, so I had no idea. It just went out.
It's okay.
It's
'Cause
okay. Because you know what?
Our time is
Our
almost
time is
up.
almost up.
Gotcha. You still got some feedback? Is it bad?
I'm going to stop
I'm
talking.
going to stop talking.
You talk.
You talk.
Well, I don't know if anybody can hear me. If it's messing up,
They can hear.
They can hear.
they can hear?
Sparrows.
Sparrows.
Who do you hear the
Do you hear the
feedback on?
feedback on?
Veronica.
Veronica, who is it?
Me or Kevin?
Me or Kevin?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
They'll tell us in
They'll
comments.
tell us in comments.
She said
She said
can hear.
she can hear.
Okay.
They can both hear.
They
so
can
keep
both hear,
going.
so keep going.
Well, awesome. Well, yeah, guys, I mean, I don't know what else to cover, but I can just tell you that, you know, that's the key to changing your life. And I know it sounds so cliche that you change your mind, you change your life. But I'm telling you right now, that's the exact same thing that you got to change. If you looked at me 11 years ago, there is no way on this planet that you could have convinced me that I'd be where I'm at today. And I'm not saying that in a bragging sense. I'm telling you that my mind could not wrap itself around the fact that it's possible for somebody like me 11 years ago to end up where I'm at today. I was 20 years old. I had never read a book outside of high school and college. I did not have a mentor. I did not own a suit or any nice clothes whatsoever. I almost failed public speaking in college. I was terrified. And now I've done over 600 keynote presentations to audiences of over 14,000 people. And the thing is that it's an 11-year transformation journey, but you have to believe that the next step is possible for you. If you don't believe it, it's not possible. Even if it is possible, it's not possible for you. What you believe to be fact is a fact for you. Whether it's true or not is irrelevant. If you think you can't do something, you are right. You cannot do it until you change your mind, and then you can do it. And that's the very thing you have to work on. You got to work harder on yourself than you do anything else. If you say, man, my marriage is broken, I wish I could fix this, my spouse does X, Y, and Z. Fix you. You can control you. You can't control your spouse. You can't control your children. You can't control the president. You can't control the economy. You can't control your boss. You can't control so much, but you can control you. And that's the empowering thing, that if you go to work on yourself every single day, if you read books, if you listen to audios, if you watch videos like this, if you listen to podcasts, if you attend seminars, if you do things to refine your philosophies, all of a sudden things around you start to change because you change your perception of those things, and the world starts working with you for good. And you start to shine, you start to grow, you start to think differently, you start to attract different opportunities, you start to affect the way that other people feel. Instead of walking into a room and being a thermostat and taking the temperature and everything else that's going around the room. Are people gossiping? Well, then I'm just going to sit, I'm going to get into that. Are they being negative? I'm going to get into that. Are they tired? Then I'm going to be like that. Instead of being a thermometer where you're taking the temperature of a room, be the thermostat. Walk in and say, I set the temperature in this place. I'm excited. I'm enthusiastic. I care about people. I'm going to talk to my server by name instead of ma'am or sir or hey. I'm going to actually call them by their name. I'm going to treat people the way I want to be treated. I'm going to be positive. Today's a brand new day. Forget yesterday. This is today, man. This is a new opportunity. And you start to change the way that you think like that, and guess what? You start to attract people. And you attract the people that you need, because that's the way the world works. If you expect opportunity and you treat people nicely, the right people will come in your path. And that new hire that you were praying for, you'll find them. And that one business idea you couldn't figure out, someone will provide clarity. And that one person you need to really mentor you, you'll bump into them on the line at Starbucks. Things start to work positively, but guess what? The opposite is true. If you got a negative mindset and you're not working on yourself, then guess what you start to attract? That type of stuff. And all of a sudden it's like, man, I never win anything. I never get an opportunity. I can't get my employees to do anything. Well, maybe they're not inspired by you. We got to become the person worthy of inspiring. We got to become the person that's on fire. We got to bring enthusiasm when we don't feel like it, when we're tired. Today's day 24 of me getting up at 5 a.m. If you've ever followed my blog, you know that that is weird because I, for the longest time, embraced my strength of being a night owl. And I even wrote the most popular blog post I ever wrote was a blog post titled, "The Early Bird Does Not Get the Only Worm." Because I was the guy that would be up later and get productive and would miss out on mornings. Well, I read a book that changed the way that I thought about my morning routine, and I decided to adopt it. And today is day 20, not 24, today's day 23. I apologize. So 23 days in a row, I've been up at 5 a.m. with a new morning routine, and it's uncomfortable, but I'm working on myself, and it's becoming more comfortable. It's easier today than it was 23 days ago. I promise you that, because I made a decision. It wasn't easy. And again, you can work hard. And guys, I can go on and on about that. But I can just tell you, that is life transformation. It's not the how. It's your philosophy. Figuring things out today are not difficult. We have technology. We can connect with people all over the planet. We can even hire people overseas to help us with different projects. I got 2 guys working for me right now because they're a lot smarter and more brilliant than I am on certain things. And instead of me trying to fix my weaknesses, which is one last thing I'll share with you, is this world wants to tell you to work on your weaknesses. You know, I failed the Alabama history graduation exam 3 times. They told me, Kevin, if you fail the history exam one more time, you will not graduate. That's how close I was to not graduating high school. And you know what was crazy? I got above average test scores on every other graduation exam with the exception of history. And now I've got all this pressure on history. Well, guess what? I suck at history. Okay? It is what it is. I like parts of history, but I don't like all of history. It bores me. So the world's sitting there saying, Kevin, you got to work on this because you're no good at it. But here's the challenge. If all we do is take your weakness and you get better at your weakness, you just have a better weakness. No one cares. We don't get paid for that. We don't build a life off of that. But if we take your strengths, your talents, your passion, your gifts, that you've already got, and we focus on those, now you can become world class, and everybody cares about that. People want you for that talent, for that thing, for you being the best nurse, for you being an entrepreneur, for you being a life coach, for you being whatever that thing is. If you take what you're good at and you focus on it, you monomaniacally just focus on that big time. Forget your weaknesses. Outsource it, hire somebody else, ask for advice, get a coach on it, get away from it. Figure out your strengths and focus on that while you work on yourself, and life will change for you, my friends, in a way that you can't even fathom. You won't even recognize yourself 12 months from now. You'll be a new creation. You've shed your old skin, the new has formed, and you've renewed your mind, and you have a new life. It literally works just like that.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
I get excited. Get passionate. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you having me on here, Valerie. For real. It's been awesome.
It's been so fabulous. And I'm just gonna shake you for your phone
dying.
Yeah, I know it.
And now we got these
echoes.
Right. I apologize.
I still love you.
Though.
I love you too. We'll have to figure out the whole phone dying and internet issue. It's been crazy, but we'll get it. We're here.
We had a fast
show.
And it'll have to
continue.
At another date.
So I'm looking forward to it, sure.
Is there anything else you want to say
before I?
Well, I put together, so this last speaking engagement I had, which was literally a week and a half ago, we had a huge audience, and the coordinator that hired me asked me to put something together for their audience for continuing education. And of course, I agreed that I would. And it's almost complete. It's called The Anatomy of Motivation. So instead of getting all fired up because somebody inspires us and tomorrow all of a sudden life kicks in and we don't feel motivated and inspired anymore, it actually teaches you how to live a charged up life like this, like the one you see me right now, my enthusiasm, like I just get so excited. This is 7 days a week for me. Not because I am naturally that way, but because I understand myself. I know how I work and how to get myself into a charged state and sustain that is so I put together the program called the Anatomy of Motivation. It's almost done, and as a gift to you guys for being on here today, if you text strategic 2, the number 2, strategic 2 to the number 88,000, you'll get details sent right to your phone in a text message. So again, strategic 2 with no spaces, strategic 2 to the number 88000. You can get details on that. And that's for you guys. I literally set a timer on it for the end of today because I'm not letting the rest of the world have that. But for you guys today, I wanted to be that gift to you. So, Valerie, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love what you do. I love what you stand for. And I love your friendship. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you being one of the associations that affects my life and who I am today. And I appreciate the invitation for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're the greatest guy on the planet. I love you back.
I love you back.
You have to come
You
back.
have to come back.
That juicy information, put it in comments.
You got it. We'll do.
And you and I
will talk off air.
Sounds good.
Thank you for coming
on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And you're a fabulous
Sparrow. So you're just star.
Glad to be part of the team.
Yes.
Yes.
That's it for
today.
Sparrows. And like I said, it was going to be a juicy conversation. My apologies for the tail end there with the interference and all, but sometimes our phones die right in the midst of things. So we have to carry on because Kevin is one of those individuals that I am really grateful to have in my life. He is motivated. He is that all the time. And you know, I can be motivating, but no, he got me whipped on that. And this audio that he's working on is phenomenal. So make sure you take advantage of that because it's nice to put something in when you're kind of in the slumps and you need to motivate yourself. Not everybody knows how. I know how. He knows how. Maybe even you know how. But for the people who do not know how to do that, get that. You know, it's inspiring and you are amazed at how quickly you can jolt back up. Like me, I'll take a double shot of B12. I'll do that. Or, you know, like I said, I keep mustard seed around. It's just an analogy of having mustard seeds and just popping one into your mouth and praying over whatever you're dealing with in the moment. And I shift just like that. Try it. I promise you, your attitude, everything about you, it'll change too. So I want to say much gratitude to Kevin Mohler for coming out. Be sure to follow him. He's going to have his information put in comments and he'll respond to the comments just as I will after the broadcast. And as always, you guys are the most fabulous sparrows on the planet. You are, and I love you immensely for always supporting, always coming and showing up in the room, either live time or you catch the replay. It's continual gratitude from me to you, my heart to yours. That's sincere. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and go. Enjoy the rest of your evening. It is Wisdom Wednesday. I am Valerie Miller of The Valerie Miller. Double fold this very moment. You have opportunity to change. So you choose change the best way you can. Do it because your life is waiting on you. Okay? It really is. It's all about transforming every day. And personal branding is your responsibility. It is yours and yours alone. So have those mirror moments with yourself. Assess your associations and always push yourself to greater. Okay? On that note, love without conditions. Always possess a positive attitude and soar in all you do. I love you, mean it. Switches.